Hi, greeting Boy Scouts of America. My name is Dr. Jason Olson, coming to you today from Scotland in the United Kingdom. I was asked to come here today because I've spent over the last 2 decades focused on both disability policy, disability rights, and lots of other topics around disability. First, some of this was done in the United States as a civil servant for the for the United States government, and now I am currently contracted to the UK government, where I do a lot of work around disability policy across the country and the devolved administrations. So when we talk about disability, there's really two ways that the disability communities referred to today. One is people with disabilities. You tend to hear this much more in the United States, and this is referred to as person first language. And what it means is that you're identifying the person with a disability as a person first, and that's why you say person with a disability. That is very different than what you would hear here in the United Kingdom, where people who are disabled would be called disabled people. And it's for very specific social reasons that that's done, and it's based on the history in both countries. Not to say that in the US, there are still people who want to be called who want to be called disabled people as well. But really, when it gets down to it, I don't want us to get hung up too much on how you refer to people. Mostly myself, I like to be called Jason, as most of you guys probably have names you like to be referred to as well. And I think that's usually the best go-to for you, is asking someone, what's your name? Just to follow up on that, let's talk about the idea of normal real quick. And I don't have time to explain to everyone, because this is a short video, what air quotes mean, but it'll be good dinner conversation for you later with your parents. But what I'll do here is I'll just draw a quick example of what we mean when we talk about normal. So this is what we would call a bell curve. And really, when you're kind of talking about this abstract idea of what is normal, you're really talking about, a lot of the times, the average and the place people think they want to be. And that tends to be as close to this line as possible. Now, unfortunately, for a lot of social reasons, social policies, discrimination, stigma, mistreatments, a lack of accessibility, and numerous other social reasons, disabled people are sometimes marginalized or segregated to over here. And what you would call this, being so far away from this middle line, are outliers. But this is actually a misconception, because disabled people, depending which data you look at, represent 15 to 20% of the population. So really, you're talking about upwards of 1 in 5 people. So I don't know how many people are in a room, but if you look around, 1 out of every 5 of those would represent a disabled person if you were evenly distributed across the US. So the problem comes in, though, is when everybody wants to be here in the middle, and everybody thinks that here in the middle is what you should be, and that everybody who's outside of that, such as disabled people, are somehow bad or wrong or deserve to be treated as less than because you're not here in this group. So my biggest piece of advice to you, don't treat people that way. Get to know them. Everybody here wants to be treated just as nice as everybody in here. And just because they've been pushed to here doesn't mean that they warrant to be treated as less than. And that really is, from what I've seen across both countries, the biggest problem, is that people from that middle group tend to treat those who are marginalized as different and do so in a way that is not helpful and very hurtful. And I would just encourage you not to do that. So yeah, I think that's my biggest piece of advice for your meeting. I did provide the opportunity for you to send in any questions you might have about disability to the person running this meeting. So feel free to reach out to me and through her, and she'll give me a list of your questions, and I'll answer any and all of them. So be sure to think of a good one, and she'll get it to me, and I'll get you all the answers you could possibly want, and maybe even more. All right. Thanks, guys.